Hey, you geeks! Today, I'm counting another 10 things for your amusement. I started this series just as a way to share my experience as a blatantly white girl experiencing for the first time Indian cinema and enjoying both the strange and familiar aspects of this art form. I can and will apply Disney to everything. In today's topic, I get to go a little bit deeper, recognizing not just the West's influence on Indian cinema, but also what Indian cinema has given the West, or how the West has adapted it with varying levels of success.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
So, let's dive on into all the spoilers of Baahubali 2, The Conclusion. Yes, this film was originally spoken in Telugu, but I'm in the US. I can either get this movie in Hindi, which is terribly out of sync, or Tamil, which is only slightly out of sync. So, forgive me for the Tamil. And now, here are 10 wonderful things about this movie. Number 1, it's epic. I kind of get this vibe that India is like the Texas of Eurasia. Not only is it kind of slammed down there in the bottom, but it's also just a place where everything is bigger. And it pleases my inner Sharpay greatly.
Don't you see that bigger is better and better is bigger?
Baahubali 2 is no exception. I mean, it starts between a standoff between an elephant and a god. Like, you don't get this kind of scale in Hollywood. Baahubali 2 just has this space for mustache-twirling villains, dastardly plans, charming princes, and oh yeah, this film just has everything. Grounding all of this epicness is the soundtrack that fills the space in a way that makes these larger-than-life figures truly grounded and relatable to the audience. Only a symphony could support the sheer epic weight of all the emotional buildup and suspense and then release of these scenes. Though, most important of all is the epic foreshadowing, going all the way back to the beginning with Baahubali Jr.'s moving the rock into the waterfall, and up to as recently as Baahubali Sr.'s little experimentations with the elasticity of palm trees.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Number 2. In the beginning. No. In Baahubali's beginning, Junior's love story is the classic enemies to lovers with all the awkwardness that entails. Senior's love story is the other classic of a battle of wits, which I think I love more than enemies to lovers because it lets both people be clever. He plays dumb, of course.
எங்களோடு வந்தால்தான் தெரிந்து கொள்வேன்.
And she knows he is lying and is trying to figure out a way to prove it, but can't because of his cleverness, which she recognizes, and that makes her fall in love with him even more. It's the kind of game where both sides are totally lying to each other and would otherwise not be a healthy grounds for a relationship, but they both know they're lying to each other, and they're both okay with it, so somehow this just works. Still, he could have let her kill one boar. Yet, it makes it all the more sweeter when the ruse is finally revealed and Baahubali shows his VA-ness by firing multiple arrows at a time. Like, they're so cute shooting together. This fangirl will forgive any number of relationship sins if the guy is a good archer.
You've seen the last of us.
Number 3, cinematography. Every frame in this film is as perfectly staged. Sometimes it's almost unreal, and I have to call, bullshit. But with one shot, Rajamouli can perfectly convey a Chekhov's dam, the love between Senior and Devasina, and that we're gonna have a good old-fashioned Texas stampede, y'all.
Shall we run for our lives?
Oh yes, let's.
For reasons that I cannot fully explain, I still kind of wish this was a stampede of buffalo, so if anyone knows of any great Indian cinema movies that feature that, let me know down in the comments. I will review that. Anywho, in Baahubali 2, Mufasa just pwns that stampede, gets the girl, and is revealed to his full glory in the most epic way possible.
மகிழ்மதி சாம்ராஜ்யத்தின் முடியளவரசன்.
Clark Kent, eat your heart out. Has he been wearing that this whole time? Cause that ain't spandex, though judging by his plot armor, that must be made by Edna Mode.
Virtually indestructible. Yet it breathes like Egyptian cotton.
Number 4, the Circle of Art.
History became legend. Legend became myth.
Someone call the Tellery because I found the swan ship that Fëanor did not manage to burn. A story about water, fire, blood, in that order, and it's epic. Anywho, these videos have mostly been about me looking at Indian cinema and picking out the things I either find exceptionally foreign or that I find were influenced by Western inspiration. Here, I think I found where Indian cinema actually inspired the Rings of Power. Starting with the ship design of the Kings of Numenor and the approach from the water to Numenor compared with the approach to Mazigmati. The tales of Numenor and Mazigmati are fundamentally tales of trouble in paradise. However, the Rings of Power, despite coming second, did it wrong. Sure, they reorganized the Numenorian court to be ruled by a queen regent who has a blind spot for flattery, dies by water, while carrying an infant? But Regent Queen Muriel ain't Queen Mother Sivagami, and Pharazon's beard cannot compete with the evil uncle's mustache.
Not the beard!
In order for battles to get away with a complete lack of tactics and rely on Rube Goldberg antics, well, then they'd better look like Baahubali 2. It just goes to show what a great filmmaker Rajamouli is, because he went first with these ideas and succeeded exceptionally well. This film ain't perfect, but it is so much better than The Rings of Power, which I appreciate for trying to bring these ideas to a Western audience, but boy did they blow it. Rajamouli went on to learn from Baahubali 2 to make RRR, which is perfection. Baahubali is exceptional, and Rings of Power is, well, now I know how they got the horses to the Southland. They just had them run along beside. Number 5.
Disasters in the air.
I've always suffered from extreme secondhand embarrassment on behalf of fictional characters.
I can see what's happening. What? And they don't have a clue.
Rajamouli's work in Baahubali 2 is unparalleled at evoking such cringe. Like, I can't even watch that throne room scene without something dying inside. Like, Baladeva is openly plotting and everyone is just falling for it.
நீங்கள் சொல்லும் நல்லவை எதுவும் அவன் செவிகளில் கேட்கவில்லை.
It makes me want to scream at the characters. Why are you listening to him? Why can't you stop and think?
This is why we can't have nice things.
6. Plotting. I really appreciate how Rajamouli thought to combine these two stories. If it had been strictly chronological and we got Senior's story first in whole, then that movie would have been just like a straight up tragedy with only the tiniest glimmer of hope at the end.
இப்பொழுது உங்களுடைய புதிய அரசன் மகேந்திர பாகுபலி.
Like Hamlet. Hamlet is, of course, a classic for a reason, but still.
Zero fun, sir.
Rajamouli's great because he tries to take all this tragic stuff and still give us a happy ending. We go straight from the darkest point of the series, that is Senior's death, to Junior picking up the mantle, swearing to avenge his father, defend his mother, and protect his kingdom. But this narratively comes with a cost. I don't know if this is a cultural thing or just a Rajamouli thing, but there is no way a Western filmmaker would have done this story without considering, number 7, Freud. Although most of Freud's psychology has been dismissed by actual psychologists in the West, it still lives on in pop culture, with the idea that if you have daddy issues, you're a hero, and if you have mommy issues, you're a psychopath. We see this in Zuko and Azula.
Dad's going to kill you. Really, he is.
Haha, Azula. Nice try.
Or Oedipus, who had both. Baahubali 2 gets the mommy issues down.
பைத்தியமாதா நீ என்னை கொல்ல முயன்றதாய் நம்ப வைத்து அவள் கைகளால் உன் மரண சாசனத்தை எழுத வைத்தேனடா.
But in Western stories, it don't matter if the son is the spitting image of his father.
Was a bloody pirate, a scallywag.
My father was not a pirate.
He is going to spend a lot of plot time brooding over what it means to be his father's son. Hence the entire emotional climax of The Lion King.
How can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are. You are my son.
He may choose to follow in his father's footsteps, but he's got to make that path his own. We actually see this in RRR when Raju rejects his simple interpretation of his father's dream and reimagines it as Beam would have done.
बाबा चाहते थे हर हाथ में हथियार हो, पर भीम के जज्बे ने हर एक आदमी को हथियार बना दिया.
This is probably why RRR resounded so much more with Western audiences than Baahubali 2. For in Baahubali 2, Junior gets told,
காரூரின் கருவில் கூட வெளிச்சம் பிரசவிக்கும் மதிகொண்ட அமரேந்திர பாகுபலியின் மகனாடா நீ. உன் தந்தையை போல் யோசி.
and instead of blowing up that he's not his father, he's never even met his father. He is a country bumpkin who was just handed a sword 10 minutes ago. We get number 8.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
Baahulbali 2 came out in 2017, like right when TikTok and the short video was just taking off. And I swear that I saw a short of these guys on this palm tree. But whoa, that short did not do this scene justice. It does not convey the sheer magnificence of the downpour of gravity-defying infantry.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen.
And oh, Stormfather at the end. Like, seriously, guys, if you are into this kind of stuff, you should really read the Stormlight Archive. And then maybe watch my reviews. Number 9, Trial by Fire. Let's be honest, I wasn't super invested in the whole Junior Uncle Scar fight at the end. Junior had pretty much jumped the shark when he got into the fortress, and there was no way that Uncle Scar was going to win at the end of this movie. But I was intrigued at how Rajamouli incorporated the mere mortals of the fight by giving us a This is why I sometimes prefer pagans to Protestants. Hollywood would never think to make a plot point that is repeated consistently throughout the film of an outward sign of an inner grace. For just as Senior chose to give his own blood to the goddess before the chess battle in the beginning, Junior has to be driven to give his own blood to Shiva in order to be victorious in battle. It just makes sense in a way that thoughts and prayers will never fully convey. Number 10. Elements. Rajamouli seems to have a rather standard recipe for his epics. Start in water, pass through fire, climax in blood. This recipe works because it is not just an Indian cultural thing, but rather something I think is more shared within the human experience. In Christianity, the 3 big sacraments are when our God gives us water in baptism, fire in confirmation, and blood in communion. Or we could go with the Mosaic tradition being picked up from the Nile, the burning bush, and the blood sacrifice of the firstborn.
Take a lamb, and with its blood, mark the lintel and posts of every door.
It makes me wonder if modern epics' success is tied with how they apply this trifecta of elements. Avatar: The Last Airbender, of course, made that progression from water to fire. Although Avatar didn't give us blood, they acknowledged it should be there and gave us melon guts instead. While Rings of Power tried to unlock this hat trick of story elements with the dam stunt, water from the dam, fire from the mountain, and then
Boom.
But there is one small problem.
There's hardly any blood.
And I thought I'd have to wait till hockey season to use that meme. Anyway, Rings of Power doesn't make a big deal out of the blood part, and that might be partially to why their plot was off the rails. Rajamouli's basic recipe for keeping his plot on the rails may appear simple because it draws from something deeper. I mean, how many epics begin with crossing the waterway?
I have to leave the Shire. Sam and I must get debris. Right. Buckleberry Ferry.
This is going to be my next big obsession. I just know it. Last year it was snakes, so leave a comment below if you know a story that has the water, fire, blood progression, or if you want to see more videos on that topic. Also, like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more, and see you next week. Bye!